Get my 6. Gnats everywhere. Yeah, you know what the creepy thing is? Before I even started recording, I turned around to look, and like you can't, like that thing that just ran by right beneath the man behind the X, you cannot see that guy with the naked eye, whatever or whoever that is. So the only thing I attribute it to is that the veil is so thin, it's like pretty much non-existent. And the spooky ghosts are coming out. Ooh. Hang this up over here. I made that. That's like a ghost mobile, whatever, windless chime. Go to my Etsy store and buy my stuff. Watch my videos and buy my stuff on Etsy. People are like, is that all this channel's about? Yeah, like all the other social media people. In my Count Dracula hairdo, getting in the mood. We're like less than 2 weeks away from fall, which means, again, the first frost of the year, so that these gnats and no-see-ums will go back to hell where they came from and where they belong. But it also means Halloween. I know you're probably in the mood for a Halloween story, because if you're like me, as soon as it starts feeling like all things fall, you just start thinking about it even more than you usually do. So I'm going to give you one today. I'm going to give you a Halloween story today, right here on the channel. But no, don't get your hopes up. You've already heard all these from October Nights Part 1, and it's not from Part 2. You have to get one of those on our Etsy store. Same place you get these really cool, spooky things. You know, I made this, and it's all made out of natural wood, natural paint from Lowe's in the craft store, natural crafting twine. But the best thing is that it's gluten-free. It's gluten-free. And if you're allergic to nuts or strawberries, that's not going to bother you, because there's no peanuts or strawberries in that product. Best thing about it. All right. However, we do have a very creepy Halloween story to read today, submitted from a viewer. I want to thank all the viewers who've been submitting your stories. I've been gone for a few days, been doing other things like the woodworking and just spending time with my wife. Now that school started back, when Daniel goes off to school, our son, me and Dearly, we go out, find some really nice old country road to jog on or walk, or we go hiking in the woods. Just been doing more, less work, more living. Remember, we're not supposed to live to work. We're supposed to work to live. And I kind of was getting past that point. I was continuing to work, to live, to work, to living, to work. And I was like, whoa. So finally, thank goodness, finished this sucker up. And I was like, time to take some time off. So that's what I've been doing. But I want to get to that really cool Halloween story that was submitted by a viewer. But I've got a couple others that was submitted by viewers I want to read first. And this first one is so ironic because so crazy. We can see it here on film and in the camera, but with my naked eyes, I can't see it. Sometimes these electronical gadgets can pick stuff up that the old eyes can't. Just watch him and see if he moves, or it, or her, or they, if there's more than one. Like maybe this guy up here, and whatever the heck's peeking up at us from around here. There's no breeze right now, folks. There's no wind. You might hear a light rain. Some creepy stuff going on. All right. There's something in this story that no less than 3 people have commented on this channel in the comment section that they have had experience with. Listen to this. And I can't attribute this story to anybody. There's actually a few stories here sent in by somebody who didn't give their name, so I guess it has to be anonymous. Hello. I'm new to your channel and enjoy listening to you speak and tell of your experiences. I can tell you a few stories. It seems my life has been a magnet for the strange and mysterious. The biggest surprise in this life for me so far was the realization of a satanic world order in charge of the world. Anyway, this isn't one of those stories, but rather the realization that beasts walk this earth that are spoken of as long dead and gone. How would that shake the world's opinion about the state of reality if they'd witnessed a living, breathing dinosaur? It was almost 30 years ago now, in a little town called Beechmont, Kentucky. I was just outside of my house practicing baseball, pitching and running and all those things I miss being able to do. My body is in a broken mess now. I was pretty much all alone out in this field just right outside my house when all of a sudden a figure in the distance caught my eye. I stopped and watched this thing fly towards me and immediately knew what I was seeing. An effing pterodactyl damn near flew right over my head. Get ready for those F-bombs because they're coming in October, okay? I will be saying the whole F word in October when I read these stories. An effing pterodactyl damn near flew right over my head. It was huge, much larger than any bird I've ever seen. The head had the cone that protruded beyond the rear of the head with a large beak on the front. It had leathery wings, much like a bat, and the span matched that of a small Cessna, and if it had any feathers, there weren't enough of them that drew any attention. This thing glided gracefully, only occasionally flapping its wings. It appeared to have little difficulty staying airborne despite its massive size. Its head kind of rocked and bobbed as it glided overhead and seemed to hardly pay me any attention. It moved with purpose, like it had somewhere to go. I had no doubt this thing could have carried me off and had its way with me. The first thing that came to my mind was, how in the hell does nobody know that these things are still around? I lived in a small neighborhood, and I know I couldn't have been the only one to see it. I wished I could have caught proof of it, taken a photo, video, or anything to prove I had this encounter. The thing is, when you're taught nothing but lies all your life, you can never really be prepared for the crazy things in this world. I've discovered since that time that many of these things that we are taught don't exist do in fact walk this earth. I suppose it would shit all over the theory of evolution, thus breaking the programming of the brainwashed masses. If there is anything I've learned in all my years, it is this. You can't control the self-educated. You can't intimidate them, nor can you deceive them. Self-educated people are the hardest and most determined people on this planet, and they don't tend to follow the herd. I don't have a clue about many of the mysteries of this universe, but it never ceases to surprise, amaze, and break preconceived perceptions. I agree with that last part especially. I'll tell you, there's so much stuff I saw in Iraq and the Middle East and the Philippines, 8 years living overseas, that when I got home, people would ask me what life was like in those places, and I'd start to tell them, and they would call me all kinds of things, a litany of terrible things they'd call me, because how dare I tell them things they've never seen on the news, read in journals, or learned about when they went to whatever university of choice they went to. Well, I just had to be lying. Oh, and then when they found out I was from West by God, Virginia, oh, that's it. He's just a dumb hillbilly. He's making stuff up to make it look like he's more important than he is. So I just stopped telling those stories verbally. Write a hell of a lot of them in my books. Guised as fiction. Because so many people just can't handle the truth. What's the old expression? Don't confuse me with the facts. My mind's already made up. That kind of thing. Moving on. Next story. Same anonymous submitter. Whoever you are, thanks for sending these stories. On another note of strangeness you wouldn't expect from this world is the spiritual world and how far it can interact with this world. I have no notion of what the afterlife is, but I do know that it is built within the fabric of creation. Once again, nearly 30 years ago, I had developed a deep curiosity of the other side. This curiosity became an obsession when I discovered the Ouija board. At first, I had thought I was moving the planchette, but my obsession drove me to dig further to discover the real secret of how this thing was working. I had communicated with this thing for years. Had it not been for the noticeable increase in strength this thing developed, I would have lost interest and walked away. I would ask it to do things and witness it do them. It started with asking it to knock or make noises, to turning the lights off and on. A house sat vacant for months next door, and it had turned on every single light at once in that house. I wasn't even sure if the home had power because it had sat empty for so long. It wasn't long before apparitions were appearing and lingering for long periods after. Something hateful seemed to have filled the room. You could feel this darkness staring you down wherever you went. It wasn't long after the knocking started. Something had beat against the wall in every inch and around all four walls in my bedroom in seconds. It was enough to wake me. Startled, I thought I had imagined it and slammed my head back down on the pillow. It followed with another series of rapid pounding around all four walls right as my head had settled down. I had popped back up thinking someone was messing with me, and so I went right back down to go back to sleep. It followed with a third series of poundings that I realized wasn't humanly possible. The nights that followed, I was tormented with hands inside my bed, shoving my head off the pillow or reaching through the mattress, grabbing and moving my body. I would freeze and examine my position to confirm that there was no way possible I was doing this somehow. I suppose I really didn't want to believe that the other side could interact with this world in ways I couldn't have imagined. It would do this repeatedly, night after night, until I no longer feared it. I would then go to bed and ignore the bed moving, and I was out like a light. It was in the middle of this deep sleep I had felt these ice-cold hands grab my ankles. Coming to my senses, I was expecting to open my eyes and see one of my younger siblings at the foot of the bed with ice in their hands, but before I could get my eyes open, I was snatched right out of the bed like a feather. To my horror, I was wide awake now, and there was nobody in the room. I'm on the floor at the foot of the bed, and something with unbelievable strength had put me there. Whatever it was nowhere to be seen. It wasn't going well for me after that experience. I started sleeping with the lights on. However, that would not stop the horrors to come. I would be in a deep sleep again, and I would remember waking up feeling like something was staring at me. I would sit up, wipe my eyes, and look around the room. Standing in the doorway was this blackened, childlike figure. It appeared as the flesh was burnt and the red muscle tissue was exposed behind burnt skin. I looked at this thing from toe to head. It was crouched halfway behind the doorway, staring straight at me. It had these jagged, sharp teeth and stringy, thin hair, but it was those eyes that caught my attention. Its eyes looked like darkness, with a golden elliptical eye, much like that of a cat. I was around 15 in age and nearly threw the blanket over my head in fear. The thought hit me, what in the hell is going to stop this thing from jumping on me once I hide under this blanket? The next moment followed with me leaping from the bed to do battle with this thing. I figured if I was going to die, I was going to die fighting. To my surprise, the creature vanished and there was no fight. From that night forward, all of the paranormal activity stopped in that house. I still wonder about that place till this day. Is that thing still there? I don't know. I don't suppose I'll ever revisit that place, as encounters like those I'd rather leave in the past. Not to say that that was the last of the weirdness this world has to offer as far as stories I have to tell. I've had many other encounters of paranormal activity over the years, with each encounter leaving me stunned and asking questions. He's got one more story, and I'm going to read it. It's shorter than the previous two, but he brings up a good point that I made in a video a couple weeks ago, and that's that it seems as if there are those of us to which these things draw themselves. It's as if they know we can see them. Maybe it's because we acknowledge them. And they like the attention, you know? Empaths. Just a few years ago, my wife and I were driving home. It was dark and a normal trip as far as things go. Then all of a sudden, this shadow appeared right out in the middle of the road. My mind kept trying to tell me this was a bear, knowing we do have the occasional bear around here, but this was different. This thing didn't walk or run out into the middle of the road. It was blankly staring ahead, I was blankly staring ahead, listening to the sounds of the pistons firing, watching the road pass along the forest as we cruised from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. There was not another car on the road and nothing but the road ahead. Suddenly, it wasn't. This shadow appeared close. So close that I knew I couldn't stop the truck in time to avoid hitting it. We braced for impact, expecting to hit this thing. At the same time, I'm trying to figure out what this thing is and where did it come from. I searched my mind, trying to put this picture together. All the while, nothing came to mind. To me, it didn't appear to have a shape. It was so black it seemed as if the headlights did not penetrate the darkness of this figure. The next thing we know, to our surprise, we're expecting an impact with this thing. We see it right there at the brush guard, still believing this was a solid object, and then nothing. I'm not sure if this thing was trying to cause an accident or what was going on. I know we should have plowed it over, but had it been a solid object. Strange if you ask me, but my wife recalls seeing a face within the figure. I don't recall a face or anything recognizable about it, other than it was very large. It nearly took up the entire road, and it was blacker than black. I've seen UFOs, lived in haunted houses, heard sounds from hell by creatures that walk this earth. I've had more than my fair share of strange encounters to know this world is much more magical and mysterious than humankind will ever know under the direction of the current leadership. I believe if people knew what all walk this earth, they'd never part with a firearm. I believe if these things were common knowledge, they would shake the world and we'd have to stop and take a deep look at ourselves and how we live by the direction of others. I believe the reality of the dangers that walk this world would cause each and every person to think about their survival. The notion of mythical beasts as a reality would drive home the realization of how prepared one must be and accept the possibility that you can't find yourself caught in an encounter with the beast of nature, bringing to mind how useless and helpless you would be having to call for help and waste precious seconds. People laugh and mock those who speak out about their encounters, and we never progress to recognizing the realities that are all around us. These creatures continue to remain in fiction and fables, and all the while it was all real to begin with. The unknown is far greater than the human mind can handle at this point. Perhaps if people ever truly desire to be free, we can move beyond the ridiculous or the ridicule and mockery and begin classifying, studying, and learning about the real nature of this place called Earth. It's magical, mysterious, and I believe this is much like the theme of the show American Gods, that if enough people believe in it, it'll become reality. There is something about this place that appears to so set in stone on the surface, but the deeper you dig, the more you discover. Nothing is as it appears, nothing is as it seems, and I can't stop asking myself, what in the letter F is this place? The end. I clearly heard a bark, and I don't have a dog. But I do have some really cool ghost noiseless chimes available in my Etsy store, where you can also get the must-read book of the season, October Nights Part 2, 31 more tales for the Halloween season. Watch my videos and buy my stuff. Did I mention that those chimes are gluten-free? And there's no peanuts or strawberries used in making them. And I'm not making fun of people with food allergies or people that don't like to eat gluten. That stuff's real. That's just like a bell and a whistle about those mobiles things I've been making. Made several sets. It's just the only one listed so far. The wind's whipping up. I best get to it. Got some more stories for you. Thanks again, everybody sending in the stories. If you have a creepy story, creepy experience you've encountered with supernatural, paranormal, cryptozoological, UFOs, aliens, email it to us at crazylake@mail.com. 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 And wow, look at that. That guy moved. Is he even there anymore? Yeah, but he's off center a little bit. He must have he shifted his body weight. Isn't that freaking, and people think I am crazy, but you can clearly see it in this video. Jeez, on with the next story. This is a good one. And I'm sorry that I'm not getting to all the stories that have been sent in. It doesn't mean that they're not all good, and it doesn't mean that they all need a bunch of editing work. Some of them do, some of them don't, but we're just getting so many. It's been not enough time, but we're going to be taking care of that in the future. Let me get to the next one. I'm calling this one Ghost Thief. Hi, Kevin. First, thank you for giving your subscribers a way to share their stories. And a special thanks to your new administrator who is helping you with this. That would be Erie. Yeah, she's freed up a lot of my time. You are welcome to use my name in my story if you wish. My name is Kathy, and I am 69 years young. This happened in the early 1970s in El Paso, Texas. My husband served in the Army and was stationed at Fort Bliss. We had rented a nondescript house in a nondescript neighborhood fairly close to the base. We hadn't had kids yet, so it was just he and I in the house. Several weird things happened in this house. Sounds of footsteps in the attic, front door rattling like someone was trying to get in, lights turned on, and kitchen drawers and cabinets open. I was never scared and always looked for a logical explanation. Well, maybe I forgot to turn out the lights when I left. Or maybe I didn't close the cabinets. But the thing that finally convinced me the house had an invisible guest was pocket change. Yes, you read that right, pocket change. See, when my husband got home from work, the first thing he would do was change out of his uniform. He would place any change he had in his pocket on the dresser. From time to time, he would ask me if I took his change. I never took his change and told him so. He obviously didn't believe me because after every incident of his missing change, we exchanged words. Fast forward to the time my husband got PCS orders to Schwabisch Hall, Germany, Dolan Barracks. We began to pack and clean. Actually, mostly clean because the Army would come pack our belongings to ship them for us. I was cleaning the spare bedroom that we had used for a storage and/or junk room. While cleaning the closet in that bedroom, I used a step stool so I could wipe down the top shelf. This was when closet shelves were made with wood and not the wire shelves and racks you see in a lot of closets these days. Sorry, I digress. That's okay. That's what this channel's all about. It's not just about telling you to watch my videos and go to Etsy and buy my stuff. Man, these things are cantankerous. Here in the South, we'd say they're trifling. They face the way I want them to face, unless I need them to be facing that way, then they... See, I just digressed. You're in good company. Anyway, there at the back on the shelf was a pile of coins. This is up on the top shelf that she needed a little stepping stool to reach. All the missing pocket change. That's when I finally realized this house had an invisible guest that liked to turn lights on, open drawers, jiggle doorknobs, walk around in the attic, and of course hide pocket change. Kevin, I look forward to your videos. Thanks for giving me something positive to watch. Keep up the good work and stay awesome. Regards, Kathy. Kathy, thank you. May you forevermore stay awesome as well. And thank your husband for his service on my behalf, and thank you for being a supportive military spouse. It reminds me of a story. FYI, we have friends that are still active Army, and talking about the PCS move and how the Army will move you. They told us at one time they decided to move themselves because you could also get paid out what they claimed it cost to move you, and it was something like 12 grand. They said they'll never do it again. 12 grand is well worth having them send in movers to come in and pack up your entire house, load it into the moving trucks and ship it for you, unpack it and all that stuff, I would imagine. All right, here comes the creepy Halloween story. Then I've got to beat feet into the house before I get rained on. Oh, I'm so excited for Halloween. All right, this one is called A Mysterious Halloween Visitor, submitted to us by Vicki Law. Hope you're watching, Vicki Law. Hi, Kevin. My name is Vicki Law. I love life and my family, and I collect cool rocks and feathers. Awesome. This is the first time sharing my story with anyone but my family and friends, and you may use my location and name in this story if you so choose to read it during your videos and or add it as a story in your next October Nights book that I'm sure you will write. In this story, I'm going to tell you what happened to me on October 31, 2018. I am from upstate New York, and I grew up in Beaver Meadow, New York. I was the youngest child of 12. I am the mother of 3 amazing children, and I have several grandchildren. I have experienced many strange encounters throughout my life, in which some people would think I am nuts, but I don't care what anyone thinks. I know the truth. Vicki Law, you as well are in good company. People think I'm nuts, and I know the truth. Yeah, I'm nuts, but I know the other truths as well. I've been a fan of your channel for a long time now. I enjoy every video that I watch of yours and look forward to your upcoming videos and stories. I moved to my son and his wife's family farm in July of 2018 with my 30-foot camper, and I got settled in and winterized. I heated with safe electrical heaters and was pretty warm for the most part. It was so awesome, my first Halloween at the family farm, and all my grandchildren went trick-or-treating at my camper door, happy to have Grandma Law become a part of their family farm. It seemed extremely cold that Halloween night, so I put long johns on under my t-shirt and sweats, kept my socks on, turned my heaters up and went to bed, nice and warm with my little nightlight on. I woke up freezing, reaching for my blankets and couldn't feel them, so I opened my eyes to find my blankets, and to my surprise, There was a very large, hairy figure standing over me that was so tall that most of its back and the back of its neck was touching my ceiling. It seemed shocked that I had woken up and was looking straight into its eyes. You notice how it just got eerily silent right here? I don't even see that guy now. He's gone. Wow, he's moved. He's over here now. Potentially there. Guys, we've watched this figure move during the course of this almost 26 minutes long video. On with the story. Instantly, it changed its appearance into a skeleton-looking creature and then instantly changed again, seeming to resemble an alien of some sort. Then, in an instant, it was gone. I had a see-through curtain in my bedroom doorway, and I could see this creature standing very tall again in the other part of my camper, where my dog, aka Harley Girl, slept on the couch. I instantly jumped up, opened my curtain, and the figure was gone, and my dog, Harley, was staring out the wide open door at only God knows what. Things are so creepy right now. You can cut the creepiness with a plastic knife like you get at Taco Bell. I already read that paragraph and it scared me. I ran to the door, turning my outside light on to hopefully catch a glimpse of what had visited us that Halloween night, but my outside light wouldn't work, and the lights to the coverall barns, which were always on at night, were not working either. It was pitch black, and I saw nothing. I closed my door and realized how cold I was, seeing my breath even after closing my camper door. Looking down at myself, I finally realized that I was completely naked, and all 3 of my heaters throughout my camper were shut off. My thermometer read 27 degrees. I was freezing. I turned my heaters back on as I walked to my bedroom to put my clothes back on, which were neatly layered on the floor by my bed, exactly how I'd put them before I went to bed. My blankets were rolled down perfectly like a jelly roll, laying at the foot of my bed, and when I first read that, that made me very hungry. I haven't had a jelly roll in years. I got dressed, went back out to check on my Harley Girl, who was still staring at the door. I opened it and tried my outside light again, which actually came on that time, and the lights to the coverall barns, where the animals are kept during the winter months, were both back on like normal. The next morning, my dog, aka Harley Girl, was still staring at the door. I walked outside to find a little rock on the ground. It was the only rock laying on the cement foundation where my camper is set up. I picked up the little rock and, well, you tell me, what do you think visited us on that Halloween night of 2018? She sent a JPEG image of this rock in with this story, and of course I didn't bring it up here, but it looks like a stone about this size, shaped kind of like an gray alien's head, and the stone appeared to have eyes and a mouth on it. The stone looked like the head of an alien. So, Vicki Law, it sounds to me like on Halloween you may have been visited by an extraterrestrial. So folks, there was a bunch of creepy stories for you. Hope you enjoyed them. Who says you gotta wait till Halloween to hear creepy stories? Not around here. Not here at Homesteading Off the Grid, where like people come here looking for like stuff about homesteading and they get some weird guy in the woods telling creepy ass stories. They need to come back in October and hear the ones that are in the books. And go ahead, be honest in the comment section. If you've already gotten your book that you've ordered from Etsy or Amazon, have you... Ugh. Man, this happened like a few days ago when I was up here telling these stories. I got like lightheaded and like a pang of a headache, just like this used to happen all the time years ago, and it's just started to happen again just within the last week or so. Gotta stay hydrated, folks. All right, see you for more next time. Watch my videos and buy my stuff on Etsy. Turn it. Turn around, you lazy bastard. There. And buy my stuff on Etsy.